Hi, I'm Jim Kennard. Today we'll be planting carrots and beets from seed in a 4-foot wide box. And we're going to show you something special today. You think of the Mittleider method as planting lengthwise 2 rows on each side. That is recommended, particularly for new or inexperienced gardeners. Remember this, however, Jacob Mittleider grew many different ways in many different configurations. One of his favorite, when he was growing large quantities or the same type of vegetable, was to grow across the bed or box. In Africa, he had 5-foot wide beds, and he had to flood that whole bed, 30 feet long, 5 feet wide. But he grew a tremendous amount of those kinds of crops that especially worked that way, such as cabbage, carrots, the smaller crops. What we're going to do today is to show you how we can plant across a box and get more yield. The thing that we have to understand and remember, though, is that you must water the entire box. We will have 3 rows of the PVC pipe. Let's get started. We will plant our carrots across with 12 inches between rows. We're going to use the 6-inch mark then, and starting close, by the way, we've got this 2x8, which gives us a good way to get across the bed in the center. Starting, we will draw the marker toward us. We'll go on the other side to duplicate it. So, we're now ready to plant. We're planting carrots today, and we need to know how many carrots there are in an ounce or a gram. You look in the seed catalog from Mountain Valley Seed Company or True Leaf Market, and it will tell you, I believe it's 16,000 seeds per ounce. A lot of seeds. So for 16 feet, we need between 350 and 400 carrots to have them 1 inch apart. Well, that means that we only need about a half a gram of carrot seed. We have measured and weighed it on a tiny scale, and so now we know that we need this many carrot seeds. But how are you going to distribute that evenly in that length, 16 feet? And here is how. You take the seeds that you need and you add them and mix them with 100 parts of sand to 1 part seed. Then, when you've got that stirred and mixed thoroughly, put it back in your can and then distribute it evenly across that 16 feet. We've drawn the mark across showing where we want our rows. We also have a little marker that we can use if those marks are not uniform or deep enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you can make that mark, and the mark, well, you get uniformity. You don't want it to be deep because you're only planting your carrot seed 2.5 times the seed thickness. Here we go. And remember, this little bit needs to go evenly across 16 feet of row. We've got the seeds planted. Now all we need to do is cover those seeds, and we don't want to cover them too deeply, do we? Only 2.5 times the seed thickness, which is not very deep. Tiny fraction of an inch. The fact that we're covering with sawdust and sand, in this case, makes it very easy. If we're in the dirt, then we cover our seeds with sand. We'll never cover them with clay. Now we're going to be planting Detroit dark red beets. This is a much larger seed, and we want them a little further apart. We will want to plant these about 2 inches apart. And so rather than sprinkling them with sand, we will just individually place them across the box. So about 100 seeds, or 100, hopefully 100 beet plants in these 4 rows. Let's get started. Again, we're going to be planting them 2 inches apart, and we're going to be planting them 2.5 times the seed thickness in depth. So, like that. And then we will cover them. And before we water, we're going to cover this with burlap or the plastic shelf liner that has holes in it, so that it can be watered, but the seeds can be protected that they do not move. We've planted our seeds and we've covered them 2.5 times the seed thickness. Now we're covering them, and the book says to use burlap. Burlap is excellent. This has always been available anywhere in the world that we have been. It's available here at Walmart's and Joann's and different fabric stores. But we have also found something at the dollar store called a non-slip plastic shelf liner. This costs only $1 for 5 feet, and we have spread it on the bed here, and we will now water in our new seeds. This, of course, allows us to use some volume of water without disturbing the seeds. The idea is you do not want to roll those seeds while they're in the process of germinating, or the likelihood is great that you can kill that new seedling. That is why we use burlap or the plastic non-slip shelf liners. Water only with plain water until you see those seeds germinate. Once you see the first seedlings pop up, you water lightly once again, then immediately remove the burlap or shelf liner, and then you apply the weekly feed and water without any cover. Here's the result just 4 weeks later. Now these beets will need to be thinned. I recommend you take a pair of scissors and cut them out so that they are 2 to 3 inches apart. And obviously you want to eat those beet greens because they are delicious. Thank you.